Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel. So my schedule got thrown off in terms of making YouTube videos. I was supposed to review the high school sex comedy Bottoms because I saw it a couple days ago and I'm kind of behind on this review. But unfortunately, or I guess in my case fortunately, Godzilla had to show up out of nowhere and go, here's a new trailer for my new Japanese movie, Godzilla Minus One. And I think I mentioned this movie once, maybe twice on the channel. I've reviewed both of the trailers on my YouTube Shorts channel, with the short review for the newest trailer coming out just minutes after it got released. But I wanted to do more of a long-form video about this movie on this channel right here, because Godzilla is pretty much my identity on this channel. Like, I love all kinds of movies, but if there's one thing that I obsess over, it's Godzilla. And this is the first live-action Godzilla movie made in Japan since 2016's Shin Godzilla. That movie marked the beginning of the Reiwa era of Godzilla films from Japan, and we've had the anime trilogy that came out as well. And the one thing that these movies, including Godzilla Minus One, have in common is that they're all kind of experimental in a way. Maybe that's not the right choice of words, but what I mean is they're not afraid to give creators absolute freedom. Whether they're absolute successes or failures, they're at the very least experiments that I appreciate Toho allowing these creatives to do. So in the case of Godzilla Minus One, it's being directed by a director named Takashi Yamazaki, who I've not seen his movies, but he's actually had some history with Godzilla prior to this film. In 2007, he directed a movie called Always, Sunset on 3rd Street 2, which opened up with a Godzilla sequence. It was Godzilla attacking a city and was his first fully digital appearance. I'm talking about Japan exclusive because, you know, we all accept that this is not Godzilla. I haven't seen the whole movie, but that one sequence itself is pretty impressive. He also created Godzilla the Ride, which you can find on YouTube. It's a motion simulator ride in Japan that features not only Godzilla, but Rodan and King Ghidorah. And the design for Godzilla in that ride is eerily similar to the design for Godzilla in this movie, which looks like a cross between the Heisei Godzilla and the MonsterVerse one. And the fact that he's being able to direct an actual Godzilla movie based off what we've seen prior has me excited. And the trailers look absolutely spectacular, to the point where they might actually give Shin Godzilla a run for its money. Sticking the theme of where Toho is letting the creative team do whatever they want with their interpretation of Godzilla, this is a post-war Godzilla movie, which we've never gotten before. It's the first one that actually predates 1954. This movie is supposed to take place in 1947, 2 years after the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, as Japan is basically in economic ruin. So the fact that Godzilla arrives at this point in time just plunges the country down even further. And I feel like that alone is an interesting concept. I've always wanted to see a Godzilla period piece movie, and it might lend itself to be one of the scariest Godzilla movies. Godzilla in this movie doesn't look as deformed as he did in Shin Godzilla, but he looks menacing. He does still look like a terrifying force of destruction. And the last shot of the latest trailer basically has him scorched. He is burnt and enraged. So this is a Godzilla that I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing how terrifying it's going to be. Also, another thing I'm looking forward to with this film is kind of more original ideas, or at least original filmmaking towards it, because Shin Godzilla is great, but that movie also relied very heavily on a lot of old school Showa sound effects, old musical cues, to the point where it didn't feel like it had a lot of money put into it. I mean, Shin Godzilla cost about $16 million. I don't know what the budget is for Godzilla Minus One, but it looks right up there, if not better than the MonsterVerse movies. Like, this is the best I've ever seen Japanese CGI in any sort of film. And the fact that it rivals the MonsterVerse in a way is pretty spectacular. And also the trailers feature more modern sounding sound effects. With the exception of Godzilla's roar, which they used from the 1954 film, this looks like it could be the modern Godzilla movie that we've been looking for after they abandoned Suitmation, and I am excited to see what they come up with. I also hope that there are no other monsters featured in this movie. While it would be cool to see Godzilla fight another monster, and while it may be tiring to have another solo Godzilla movie from Japan, I feel like considering the time period that this movie takes place in, and the fact that there's probably going to be a lot of political subtext to post-war Japan, the idea of having another monster fight Godzilla in this movie might distract from a lot of the deeper themes that it might want to try to convey. As the trailers hint a lot at America's possible involvement with this movie, but also there's a line of dialogue where a character says, "This monster will never forgive us." This could be in line with some of the horrendous things that Japan had done during World War II, and that Godzilla is basically punishment. So there is a lot that I feel like could be dissected when seeing this movie, or I could be just completely 100% wrong. I try my best not to predict how movies are going to play out. Ever since The Last Jedi, Infinity War, and Endgame, I just sat back and went, you know what? I'm going to watch this trailer as it is, be excited for the movie, not going to predict anything that's going to happen, and I won't be let down in a way. But with this movie, it's too exciting not to predict anything. And the fact that this is getting a theatrical release in the United States just makes me so happy. It was one thing that this movie was just announced out of the blue by Toho, that, yeah, we're making a new Godzilla movie, and principal photography was already wrapped. And the fact that they dropped a trailer announcing that it would be released in the United States on December 1st in theaters was like the biggest surprise I could possibly have imagined. Like, Christmas came early for this Godzilla fan right here. The fact that I get to see a new Godzilla movie from Japan in United States theaters, and it's supposedly not a limited release, is just brings so much joy to me. And then 4 months later, in April, we get to see Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, which I think will be good, but this movie just looks like it could be infinitely better. So I'm excited for Godzilla -1, and you bet your ass I will be reviewing it the second it comes out. If I get to see this movie early like I did with Shin Godzilla, then I hope that happens. I hope that I get the chance to see this movie at a press screening. How Toho is going to do it in the United States, I'm not quite sure, but I hope I get invited one way or another. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Godzilla -1. It's easily my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. I cannot wait. And also I wanted to point this out. A commenter on one of my videos asked if I'd be doing a Q&A video this year. I don't think I answered back, but considering that this is my 10-year anniversary of the channel, I thought, yeah, why not? So I'll be doing a Q&A later in the year, but let's make it a little different. I posted a photo on my community tab, but let's go ahead and make this a get to know me type of Q&A. So either in the comment section on this video or the comment section on the community tab, leave your questions. I'll go through the questions, and by early November, I'll have that video up. How's that sound? So go ahead, leave your questions in the comments below, as well as your thoughts on Godzilla -1. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.